Right. So today I want to talk about resistance. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I have a lot of friends who are also business owners. And I think that it's something that needs to be talked about more because the struggles of being a business owner and the things that we go through, resistance isn't a stop sign, it's a signal that you're growing. And often we have a pushback. Oh, like, am I even supposed to be doing this? Is this even going to work? Is there a need for this? Am I just out of my mind? That kind of thing. So if you've ever felt like you want more, but something keeps holding you back, this episode is for you. I'll be the first to tell you that what you're feeling isn't failure. It's just resistance. And what is resistance? It doesn't show up as a loud no. It shows up as a hesitation, like a feeling of hesitation. It can show up as procrastination, for example, overthinking everything, self doubt, starting or stopping, which happens off and on, or the famous one, I don't feel ready. Girl, start before you're ready. It happens because your nervous system is trying to keep you safe, not expanded. And there is usually a fear there, like a fear of failure, maybe, a fear of being seen, a fear of responsibility, a fear of success, a fear of your own power, one that I have had challenged myself. Um, but maybe like I can completely tell you from experience that as a business owner, I've had to face these often myself, like I said, and being a business owner and trying to do it all on my own has been a challenging because it's all learning and going, seeing what works for me, what doesn't, and what coaches will tell you, or maybe not tell you, they have their own little system and it works for them, but it doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So you really have to try and failure is not something you should be scared of because if something fails, that's okay. It's just a sign that that wasn't going to work. You're going to try something else. And that's the kind of attitude you have to go into it with. Fear, quite frankly, is like it actually like F is for false, fear, false. E is for evidence, A is for appearing, and R is for real. So false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. And it's just your nervous system telling you that it's uncomfy here and trying to keep you safe. For example, myself, I own a company. So in the pandemic, we were just about to have baby number one, and my husband and I, we weren't married yet, and the relationship was still kind of new. Everything happened really fast with us, and I had to put all my trust in this man. He grew up in the like carpet cleaning industry with his dad having that same kind of business model. I knew nothing about it, but he's like, we're going to do this and it's going to be great and it's going to make money. I had to go on maternity leave. And from someone who was like very independent and been on my own since I was like 18, that was not easy. And I really had to put my faith and my trust in this man and in this dream. He's like he knew what he was doing, so we did it together. He was the physical, like, he still is. He is our business. I do the invoicing, the emails back and forth, etc. And so I had to trust. I had to take a leap of faith. And you sometimes you just have to, start before you're ready. And I've also been in different network marketing since in my early 20s. I tried Amway. I was part of Beachbody postpartum that helped me through other things. But I'm not saying anything wrong with network marketing. I've seen success there. I've seen it like some of my really good friends are a part of affiliate marketing and network marketing. But all the different venues that I even tried Shopify at one point. Um, I tried Etsy at one point, and it just didn't feel aligned with my messaging. And so when I became a self-love coach and got certified and all that, I had resistance several times because I got certified in 2021 and I didn't really step into what I'm doing now until probably the past year. Like I really, really stepped into that power. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of fighting that resistance and putting myself out there to expand. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that means today. Um, but yeah, I tried different things that didn't feel aligned. I had a lot of self-doubt, moments where I questioned myself. I just know that I felt a pull and I keep following those inner pings, and this is why I am doing what I'm doing now. And I continued anyways. I haven't given up, never have. I feel like there is definitely a need in what I have to offer, especially nowadays. So here I am trying to spread light, right? And I didn't always feel confident, but I just kept on going anyways because you know what? Confidence comes. The more you do things, it's just like when you go to the gym, like you start off with like 5 pound weight or whatever, and eventually you get stronger. Eventually your body wants to, get, and that's with so many different things in your life. You didn't just, you weren't born walking, right? You had to learn to crawl. You had to learn to lift yourself up. Then you had to take a first step. Maybe you stumbled a couple times until you got good at it. It's with any sport, it's with anything that you want. And so use that right now towards whatever you're trying to achieve. I just also have this deeper inner knowing and belief that what's planted in your heart is fully meant for me. I've seen this for future version of myself, and I know that in the process of becoming, there are a lot of things come along the way. The work, facing blocks head on, and subconscious beliefs. But what happens is we reach a comfort where we feel safe. For example, you're making X amount of money and you want to reach another level of income, but you as much as you want to, you still have this like weird fear like can I hold that? And that's just your nervous system staying comfortable. So you have to keep expanding outside of that. You'll know when fear is showing up because we start questioning ourselves. This is what we call imposter syndrome. Feeling like, who am I to do this? Comparing yourself to others, waiting to feel ready once again. But in fact, imposter syndrome is not a sign that you're not ready. It's actually a sign that you're stepping into something new. And your spiritual self needs to be expanded and needs to feel uncomfortable before it's comfortable. You need to keep putting yourself out there, feel the fear and do it anyways. I always say, right? I actually have a workbook available free for downloads. It's called You Are Good Enough. I'll link it in the podcast today, and it's a little bit of inner work to help you with that imposter syndrome. And actually, I was speaking to a friend of mine recently who was having a little bit of self-doubts, and it kind of triggered, like, that's kind of where the ping for wanting to do this episode to begin with, because I feel like she's not the only one. I've been there. And so if you're hearing this, you are meant to open up this episode right now and listen to it. So what it means to be your inner beacon is breaking down. What is a beacon? A beacon is a light, a guide, something that leads the way even in the darkness. So being the inner beacon in your life means you stop waiting for external validation and start leading yourself from within. So follow that. If you feel like you had a calling here, remind yourself why you started, first of all, instead of thinking, I can't do this anymore. This isn't for me. That is a choice. It is a choice to continue. It is a choice to keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You might have some highs, some lows, and that's okay. Because you know what? You may be taking 10 steps forward, 2 steps back, sitting there. But guess what? You still have gone a little far from here to here, right? If you started here, you're here. All you got to do is pick up your feet again, take 5 steps forward. And so what? Maybe you have another stop. Step one, you step back once. You get back on it, take 3 steps forward. You're always threading the needle. You're always moving forward that way, right? And sometimes, like as a business owner too, it forces you to grow. It triggers your fears. Patterns show up. It's just like a relationship. Relationships do that too. And like any kind of relationship. Mind your little setbacks. When you react and you find yourself reacting, and then you have to question, like, why am I reacting? Like, where is this coming from, right? It's a mirror. It shows you where you need to work or what you need to work on to move forward, to continue to expand. So it challenges your identity, but all in the best ways. Building a business will show you every place you don't trust yourself yet. And that's okay. That should be a celebration. I know that it'll cause fear. You just have to tell your body that you're safe and move through it. Move through the resistance. The first step of that is just becoming aware. Notice how it's showing up. Ask it why it's showing up that way. Where did this stem from? Don't run from it. Take small actions today. Build that self-trust through consistency. You don't feel like posting? Ask yourself why you started. You can post about that because people want to hear real stories, and the reality is it's not easy. And if you're, for example, in something like a network marketing business, you're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, I signed up for this and I made $5 billion today." You know what I mean? That's not relatable. You have to show that it's not an easy cup of cake. It's not you sign up and like it happens overnight. Rome wasn't made in a day, right? And you don't need to eliminate fear altogether, because remember, this is a good thing. It means that you're about to you're about to level up and move with it. Feel the fear and do it anyway, like I said before, right? So, in my experience, the scariest decision and opportunities or inner pings that have made the least amount of sense sometimes that showed up and I allowed myself to go through were and are always where the most growth came in. And it's exhilarating how proud and strong you feel after expansion in the greatest form. Actually, this weekend, for example, I was a speaker and I was highlighted as a speaker for a self-love summit. So 13 of us got chosen to be a part of this summit. It was a 2-day thing. I was so nervous, I don't know why. And then as soon as I like started talking, it just came natural. And it's because I've done so many workshops now. I've hosted so many different workshops of my own that it kind of just like felt like I was in my power doing my thing. And that was exciting to me. I was so proud of myself for that, because a year or two ago from now, like I wouldn't have been that same Marisa. And same as now, I'm creating my podcast. I'm talking and sharing on here, vulnerable, and to be bringing people into my world, but it's a different way, and it's at first was really uncomfortable, but now it's getting more comfortable. And here I am. And here we are. Listen, we are here to evolve and continue to expand. Test your limits and then some, because you don't even know your greatest potential yet. And if you just do it and start before you're ready, just trust the timing. And one day you will be looking at yourself in the mirror and realize that the version of you that you have always imagined or wanted to be was ready all along. There you are. Sit with that. Let that land for a second, because she is already within you, waiting for you to just freaking do it. It might not happen how you expected. And like me, there will be pushback and different routes along the way, but isn't that the beauty of this journey? Trust that more and step into that power and serve from your magic. And the more magic starts to show up, the more you do it. And how it ends up unfolding is perfectly how it ends up unfolding, or how it's meant to be. It's not often how you expect it to be. You know, I actually bought my mic that I'm using for my podcast over a year ago, and with no real intention of starting a podcast at the time. I was just working on my community on school, and I wanted good audio for it. But like something later told me that maybe I should look into a podcast, and I resisted that for so long until I finally just did it before I was ready. And I've been learning. I've been, like everything's been new. So do not sit and wait for your dreams to just be handed to you. Follow through. Start before you're ready. Move past fear, past the resistance. Take small actions anyway. Build that self-trust by staying consistent through threading the needle. Here's some mindset shifts. Instead of what if I fail, why don't we say, what if this is exactly where it all begins? What if I embarrass myself can be instead, what if you inspire someone just by trying? What if I lose money? Well, what if it's the best investment you've ever made? You are your biggest and best investment you can make. If you're pouring into something, there's something going to be learned regardless. What if it doesn't work for me? Girl, been there. What if you're closer than you think still? There's a reason and a purpose for everything and every decision, as long as you're still going for the same end goal, right? So the only thing standing between you and your dream life is the story that you keep telling yourself every single day. You are not stuck. You're not behind. You're not incapable. You're just being asked to grow. It can be a very lonely journey, but I just want you to know that you're not alone. In fact, I'm coming in here and inviting you into my world, my school community, where there's a safe space to do the exploration completely free. You can start with the You Are Good Enough workbook. Again, you can download that workbook in the episode notes. Free to download. Let me know what you think when you're doing it. Share it. Post it on your stories if you want. Share the love. I will repost. I will comment back. I am here for you. Remember that resistance is where your next level begins.